Hello, shining ones. I just got done with today's video. I poured my heart out. We went somewhere. Oh my God. So I'm going to kind of draw a line in the sand here. If you're here from like my book review videos and all that, you're welcome. Stay, enjoy them. I love you. I love all of you. But if you're here for spiritual teachings, if you're here for Zoroastrianism, I'm going to ask you, watch this video completely to the end or unsubscribe from this channel because I don't have anything then to offer you. Go find it. Don't waste your time here. I want you, and I don't want you just to not watch my videos. I want you to make a statement. I'm drawing the line in the sand. If I can't make it to the end of this video, then I'm not going to stay on Magus's channel anymore. I'm going to go find what I'm looking for, be it Baptist or Islam or New Age or whatever. Because today we found the truth. And I spoke truth. And this truth is what will set you free now. It is the highest truth. The Spirit gave me the words, and it would be disrespectful for you not to stay to the end when Spirit is flowing and speaking through me like he did today. So if you do not make it to the end of this video, I want you to unsubscribe. And I know this can't happen, but if you get to the end and don't hear truth and hold truth and step into that better life, that better world, I want you to unsubscribe because I'm not a good prophet for you. I'm not a good teacher to you. I failed you and I beg your forgiveness and I am so sorry. My heart is to make you find peace and joy in Asha, heaven on earth. But if I couldn't do it, I beg your forgiveness and I command you to leave this channel and go find it from someone that can get you there because you deserve it, because you are beautiful and I love you that much. So there's the line in the sand, and don't play games with me. I promise you, you won't like that. If I tell you to do something, unsubscribe from this channel if you don't make it to the end. If you don't hit the like button, if you didn't learn and grow from it, then I've got nothing to offer you. You're actually hurting us by not watching it to the end. The algorithm's always watching and learning. It sees. If you watch 30 seconds of an hour video, it's not good. If you don't hit the like button, it hurts us. You're hurting our mission of bringing light and Asha to the world. Get off my channel and go find your salvation. But for the rest of you, get ready. My friends, this is it. This is Asha. I love, love, love you. Enjoy. Hello, my wonderful friends. Magus with you on a beautiful day in Asha. If you're brand new to the channel, we're Zoroastrians. We are the Magi. And today's message, we're going to go so deep. A matter of fact, I've met with people before, and they think they're deep divers. But I picture them almost like at the YMCA, holding onto the side of the pool, putting their face in the water and blowing bubbles. This is beyond. This is deep. I don't know exactly what I'm going to entitle this. I was thinking Magi only, but we have so many videos entitled that. I don't know if people think that's an old videos, but this is really for the Magi. But it would be good for anyone. I want to start with a couple things. One, something just on my heart. Make sure you just have fun in this life. It's so important. Yes, we have a really, really big calling. But I think you might go mad if you take it too seriously. You need to laugh. You need to have fun. You need to play. You guys see me every day just preaching Zoroastrianism. But I have a lot of other interests. I love motorcycles, dirt bikes, street bikes. I love the mountains. I can go out for hours and just wander in the woods, and it's my happy place. Maybe start a little campfire, it brings me such peace. And waterfalls, I could go on. My library. I love coming up in all of my books, and I'll get a little hot cocoa and pick one of my favorite books off the shelf and just read, and it's a passion of mine. Matter of fact, many of you have probably come to the channel from my love of books. So make life fun. Don't get too caught up in the mission. Yes, it's important, but you'll find you'll do a better job at your job if you're enjoying this life. So we're going to cover a few things. We're going to be in Asha 10 today. But first, I want to touch on, matter of fact, our wonderful friend Cole. Are you still around, brother? If you are, say hi. He had one time asked me about connecting with spirit, your higher self. I always talk about that place in between awake and asleep. And I've done teachings on it, but I haven't felt drawn to really teach on it again. And I'm not even teaching on it today, but I could give a couple helpful hints, things you can do. And so I used to, and I'm going somewhere because the message I got last night is what we're going to be hitting on. I used to keep a pen and paper on me at all times. As a matter of fact, a lot of the songs that you've heard on this channel, a lot of the books I've written, I'll be out for a walk in the forest and I'll get these downloads. I'd pull out my pen and paper and I'd write it all down. Sometimes I didn't have my pen and paper on me, and so I would try to put it to memory, and I'd put it to rhyme, and I'd think it the whole way back home as fast as I could get to my pen and paper. But do you know what I do now? And I did last night. I keep just the recorder on my phone next to my bed there. And so I woke up, and that's a perfect time to be in that place between awake and asleep, hearing from spirit. And you get these messages, these downloads, but it's so much deeper. It's like you're experiencing it. You understand it all. And then you try to put it into words that will express what you experience. You can never quite do that, but we do the best we can. And so I would suggest for my wonderful friend Cole, or any of you interested in that, keep pen and paper by your bed or a recorder. And then also, as you're saying the words trying to express, also try to put in the feelings, the emotions, stories, examples, anything that you can do that can help you when you're awake later that morning and you're listening back, to have that same feeling and aha moment. So last night's download from Spirit, oh my God, guys, it's so profound, so powerful. Can I give you a couple examples? The gist of it, and I'll get deeper into what it was exactly said, but was how that we step in to our future. I'm sure you know about like the multi-worlds idea, theory, and that there's many different possibilities out there that you could live in. But I was seeing those are just possibilities. It's not like you are there living that. There's one mind. And the mind that you're using right now to create with, it's the possibility that you've chosen. But there's others. And I'll give you some great examples. And I know you guys have heard these stories, but I want you to see the connection to them. My friend in Florida had OCD from the time he was a child up into his 40s, and it was getting worse, and he had never lived with peace. He there's that multi worlds theory where he could have stepped in to a world where he didn't have OCD and the suffering, but he didn't know how to do it. Luckily, I was able to point him to that world that we call Asha, heaven on earth. And what it is, my friends, is the possibility was always there for him to live without OCD. There was a world where he went out surfing every day and wasn't attacked in his mind. There was a world where he didn't drink himself blacked out drunk every night. There was a world where he didn't just cry on the beach in front of all of his friends because he was in such a hell. But he didn't know how to get there. Now get this. Am I bragging? I am. I am bragging. I'm bragging on myself. I'm bragging on Asha because it's one of my proudest moments. All the doctors he had gone to, I mean, the specialists, you guys know the story. He had money. He'd been to all the finest doctors, specialists, medications, anything you could get, he had access to. But they couldn't get him to this other possibility, this other world that he lived in that was just good. All they could offer him was what they were taught. And it's going to take us to Asha 10. Trust me, you'll see how this all ties together. They couldn't conceive an idea where he was healed from the OCD, only managing the symptoms through constant medication and therapy. And there's nothing wrong with those things. If those things were working and helpful, do them, please. It's wise, it's wisdom, it's good. But those things didn't work for him. And I told him before I left Florida that he would be completely healed. And you guys know the story. Before I left, he ran up to me, tears in his eyes, completely healed. Stay in touch with him for years, completely healed. Got his life back, living in that a different possibility, a good world that we call Asha. The reason is because he took the one mind, the one consciousness that he had, and he took it to that place. And you do that, but by holding different thoughts, ideas, frequencies, beliefs. If you have a belief that, and this is what the world teaches, there's good and there's bad. There's peace and there's war. There's health and there's sickness. These diseases, you never overcome them. You just deal with them the best you can. You work on the symptoms, try to make them less uncomfortable. And that's what they'll have, because that's where their mind is. My friends, our mind are way more powerful than most people give credit. And now, the successful people I know that I get behind the scenes and I pick their brains, they know these secrets. They don't even try to hide them. They will tell you wide open about these crazy ideas and dreams that they had. You know, I've heard stories of this girl. She had a particular actor that she grew up loving. And she said, I'm going to make him my husband someday. And she used to fantasize and dream about being married to this person. And it happened. You know, I know many successful people, and they were in poverty, and they had no really idea of how to get to a better world, a better life. But it started with their mind. They started dreaming, fantasizing, and then just kind of being guided and led and taking the first step and then the second step. And what do you have to do? Do you have to go to take acting classes, join drama if you want to be a great actor, you know, famous? You start taking the steps, and pretty soon you're living in that possibility. And it all started right here. Now, if you have the thought that, there's so many people competing for it and that could never happen for me, and it's just a pipe dream, and then you'll live in that reality. Well, what can you truly believe at a heart level? You know, Carl Jung said it beautifully. You want to know your future? You want to know what world you're going to live in? Check your heart. Check the subconscious mind. What's hidden there will be manifest. We've heard all the famous masters say, right? The Buddha, thoughts make your world. What do you think? What do you truly think? What do you truly believe? Can you believe Asha? There's very few of us that actually hold Asha. And Asha 10 describes it. We're going to get into that. But the world religions, their God loves and hates, can be at peace and war, can heal and send disease, right? And people have taken that into. Can I never like to be negative, but I want you to see these things. There's people throughout history, we can learn from history, that lived in an absolute hell that they were calling God good, right? I just watched a documentary on the Mayans, and they found this pool, like a lake, that had this rich blue dye that they really loved and were excited about. But when they found out how that dye got there, it was from they would take children, paint them blue in that ink dye, whatever that is, and then sacrifice them, pull out their heart while they're alive, and then throw them in that lake. Ew! That's a real hell that they were living in, because they thought that was God good. They were pleasing the gods. So they had a wrong idea, and they're living in a real hell on earth, right? And it goes throughout history with those religions. Think of the Jewish people, right? The moms would stone their children for being disrespectful. That's a real hell in my mind, right? They'd go in and kill men, women, and children, and take sex slaves. To my mind, that's a real hell on earth, but they're calling that God. Islam, you could name any world religion. They'll go in and blow up innocent people and themselves because they're going to get 72 virgins. A real hell took place. They were blown up. Innocent people are in pain and suffering and hurt and tragedy that doesn't have to be. Hell on earth, and they're calling it God. And so they're living in a certain possibility, one of the many worlds of the multi-worlds. But it's a choice. If you will get a better story, you'll live in a better story. I don't think I could say that more simple. If you'll get a true story, you'll live in the true story. If you'll get the real, you'll live in the real, the perfect Creator's perfect idea. Heaven on earth. And it'll defy the experts. Another story I love to tell. Here, Asha showed its supremacy over psychology and medication. And that's not the only story. Go through the testimonies. Our wonderful friend Timmy, she's the one that doesn't mind me using her name because she's proud of it. She had that, was that agoraphobia where she couldn't go outside. She lived in hell on earth in her mind, OCD, panic attacks. I mean, she'll give you the list. And Asha set her free from it. My friends, she said the churches couldn't do it. She went to prayer and they anointed her with oil and their religion couldn't do it. But Asha, the truth, did it. Now she's living in that possibility, that other world. She took her consciousness, her mind, and stepped into another world. She probably could never have dreamed of a world where she wasn't tortured like that. And now she told me she's the number one salesperson at her job. People love her. They tell her, I feel something beautiful about you. Before she didn't want to leave the house, and now she's out sharing the gift that is Timmy, that we've all absolutely fallen in love with. And I can hardly talk about without wanting to cry because I love her beautiful soul so much. And many of you, same. I love you so much. Your story has touched me more than you know. So we're taking our mind, our consciousness, and we're stepping into a different possibility. Okay, go to Asha 10. Flip over to Asha 10. I'm going to pause this, go get a drink, and come back. And we're going to dig into Asha 10 because, oh my God, Asha 10. So much to say about it. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had to do some deep breathing, get a drink, relax, because Asha 10 is a hard one for me to teach on. And so I'm going to get right to the point, and then we're going to talk. But this is the biggest lie. Matter of fact, this is the one thing that will derail your whole ministry if you're a part of what we're doing here. It's the lie that you need the darkness to see and understand the light. That you need the balance of light and dark, good and evil, to keep that balance and the understanding and for growth. That is the biggest lie that has destroyed so many lives. And I will not let it destroy you. If you will stay and listen and understand. We get enough of that from the world religions. I don't like to see it creeping in here. I think of the stories of like Moses and the Pharaoh. And it said that Jehovah hardened the Pharaoh's heart when he was going to let them go. He hardened his heart so that it said that Jehovah could pour out all of his punishments on Egypt to bring glory to him, to show the Jews his power. So the firstborn children dead. And it said that Jehovah, and they're calling Jehovah the highest principle God good, would do that, would bring darkness, brought the angel of death to show his light. Oh, this is why I have a hard time teaching this. That angers me. And I'm not supposed to get angry. That's angromania, the angry mind. And you can't be in Mazda when you have the angry mind. And but it grieves me so deep that they call that God. And then I see it in my channel, in my comments, by people that should know better, saying these things. Saying the same thing, but in a different way, because it's what they were taught. Magus, I've learned my biggest lessons from the dark. Well, that's great, but that's not the best way. That's not the good way. That's not the God way. Yeah, when you touch a hot stove and it burns, you learn not to touch it again. But you could have just tapped into that wisdom that is in you and is you, that divine spark that says, don't touch that hot stove. It will burn you. You don't have to touch it. You don't have to do horrible acts to know it's bad. There's a conscience, there's a truth that lives in you that you can tap into. But here's one of the many reasons why. I think people, they like to hold on to the darkness. They like to dabble in the darkness. It makes them feel safe. As long as I can hold on to my anger and my hate, maybe it makes them feel safe. And they want to make it seem holy and spiritual, so they try to make up some holy spiritual reason. Call it God. Call it good. How do we fight against that? We can't. And that's why I tell you, even at the beginning of this, have fun, enjoy life, play, find other things also to do. Well, once you find Asha, one of the best things you can do is be happy, be joyful, be at peace, play, love. There's beautiful energy and frequency and truth to that goes out to the collective conscious mind. But my God, do I feel when we have such a passion to get this message of pure light out, I understand all the feelings, because the whole world seems to be against us, even though they seem to use us for examples. You know what? Something I was just thinking about. I was looking at my books. I got the Wheel of Time books. Was there 15 of them? All 1,000 pages or more. Love that series. And it said that Robert Jordan was inspired by Zoroastrianism. And obviously you see it, right? His magicians were called Ashavan. We're Ashavans, right? I've heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but someone told me they thought Star Wars was also inspired by Zoroastrianism. But I'll tell you, any book, movie that has magic in it has been inspired by the Magi, because magic is named after the Magi, but they won't listen to us about real magic and true magic and good magic and about the light and about the truth and about Asha. They take our wording and ideas and they mix it. And Zoroaster is pure light, undefiled, undiluted, unmixed. We separate the light from the darkness, and there is no combination. It's impossible. And that's what Asha 10 says so beautifully. Flip to Asha 10. If you don't have Asha, it's Asha by Winston Head, available at Amazon, $3.83. And this little 16 chapters will completely change your life. Can we just talk before we get into this? Guys, I can't even explain to you why Asha 10 is so hard for me, because it's the wall that I'm up against. At least forget it to other people, not for myself. I live in Asha. I've helped many other people get to Asha. You've heard the testimonies, a couple just today. but getting it to the whole world, they fight me so hard on Asha 10. And so I have a hard time. You hardly ever see me teach on Asha 10 because it's almost exhausting to me. And I don't want to wear myself out. So I only do this once in a while. Another thing about Asha 10, on a little funnier note, it's not well written. And that bothers me because I wrote it. And one thing I would do, I'd be out for my walks in the forest. And before I would let myself just come into the present moment and just enjoy the blue skies and the white clouds and the deer and the squirrels and the birds singing and the smell of pine, and just be in that present moment and really see the forest for what it is, and that meditative state, I would recite all 16 statements and teachings of Asha as I'm starting my walk, my hike. And whenever I got to Asha 10, I just feel like, ugh. One, it's long. And I was thinking, oh God, here comes a long one. Two, it's not well written. If I could go back and rewrite it, I would. And I've thought about it, but now it's almost out of my hands. It's not just mine anymore. Matter of fact, when I'm on different Facebook, Instagrams, and I come across people, they like to take pictures of their favorite statement and teaching. Asha 10 is the one I mostly come across. And I always tell them, I go in there and say, oh, please next time tag me. And they end up, a lot of them tell me, I'm sorry, Magus, I didn't know Magus and Winston Head were the same person, or I would have tagged you. And so it's just a little treat I find sometimes when I'm on the internet and I see someone showing Asha, the love of Asha, and it's almost always Asha 10 that they're taking a picture of, the screenshot, snapshot, and sharing with the world and what it's meant to them. So I feel like it wouldn't be right for me to rewrite it now because it's become theirs and they love it the way it is. So we're going to leave it. Oh, all right, here we go. Are you ready? I'm not, but we're going to go for it anyway. I will ask myself a question, not concerned with how I want others to perceive me or an image to project, but an honest question looking for an honest answer. What energy am I really? This is everything. This is what we're talking about with Carl Jung. If you'll know what's in your heart, in your subconscious mind, you can know your future. So don't be trying to impress others with how holy you are, or how good you are, or don't worry about an image you're trying to project. This is for you. What energy are you really? What stories? What God do you hold? What spirit? What does your God and spirit really look like? What energy am I really? All right, here we go. Help me, Lord. There are two kinds of contraries. Ones whose differences are of function, such as hot and cold, high and low, light and heavy, full and empty, which work together in harmony. But then there are contraries of substance, which cannot combine, such as good and evil, love and hate, health and sickness, truth and lie, life and death. Contraries of substance which cannot combine, good and evil, right? It's like light and darkness. They can't combine. When the light comes, the darkness can't be there. Where there's pure holiness, evil cannot be in this. It's impossible. That's why purity is a must. It's what Zoroaster is always talking about. It's a pure starlight that the Magi follow to find the Savior. Pure. And it cannot mix, cannot combine. So I get this in the comments a lot about yin and yang. Right? So let's picture a continuum. Picture a line. And at one end is hot. We're talking yin and yang here. One end is cold. Right? And down this line is just different degrees of the same thing. We're talking about temperature. Hot and cold, same thing. And as you go down, it can get warmer, warmer, colder, colder. Where do you find exactly on the continuum where it goes from hot to cold, right? You don't. It's just different degrees of the same thing. And here's where people get it wrong. They try to put God on a continuum. So they'll have God and they'll have the evil spirit. They'll have love and they'll have hate. They'll have peace and they'll have war. But my friends, good spirit is not on a continuum, not the same thing as the evil spirit. To be on a continuum, you have to be the same thing, but different degrees. And this is where people miss it. You got to draw that line, split it. There's good spirit, there's evil spirit. There's love or there's hate. There's peace or there's war. There's light or there's darkness. Now here we're talking the spiritual realm, right? We're not on that continuum of things like hot and cold, high and low, right? Full and empty. Those things that work together in harmony, made for nature. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the highest principle of good. Now get this. Can we go a little deeper? So we have the all good spirit and the evil spirit. Get this, the evil spirit in truth is not even real. It's nothing. That is what set my friend that we're talking about earlier in Florida free from his OCD. In the religion he was brought up in, he had that post-traumatic stress. He was so scared of God and hell and demons and devils and the voices in his head telling him awful things. As soon as it clicked that the devil's not even a real thing, there are no demons, that was the thing that healed him instantly. Can you imagine the feeling of that when he stepped into that other possibility? His mind, his consciousness stepped into a whole new life. And, I love the story. I was with my daughter. We pulled up to our surf spot. He come running to me, tears flowing down his eyes. Didn't care who he heard saying, "I'm healed, I'm healed." Wrapped his arms around me, gave me a big hug, tears all over my shoulder. "Love you, brother. I'm healed." He didn't really, when I first brought it up to him, he didn't really think it was going to happen. It took months and months of us working in this Asha, this better story. And as soon as it clicked, he instantly, as soon as he was in his heart able to get the better story, and the devil and demons went away, and he saw only good, God good, love, peace, joy, light, unmixed, undefiled, undiluted. And he held that just for a second. Something beautiful happened. I don't know if he rushed into that other world or that other world rushed into him, or they ran to each other at the same time and crashed in the middle, but it was beautiful. Goes on to say, for when the truth is told, the lie is exposed for what it is, nothing. Right? If someone's could have you just bawling, crying, telling you your loved one's dead, sorry, and you're crying and in a hell in your own mind, then your loved one walks in the door. Now you're filled with joy. And now that same person could be saying, your loved one's dead. It doesn't mean anything. You know the truth. You're holding your loved one. They're alive. They're in my arms. You liar. The lie has lost all of its power. This is Asha. The truth comes and the lie loses all of its power. It's nothing. The evil spirit's nothing. It's not real. Those mixed gods aren't real. Those warring gods, those gods of fear and judgment and shame, aren't even real. Makes me think of Zarathustra's Song 5. O false gods, beware. The Magi have returned. When the Magi return, we bring Asha with us. It chills through my whole body. Where health is, sickness is not to be found. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. There's no big fight. The light just fills the room and the darkness is gone. So far, this is pretty good writing. I like this part. So ask yourself, what energy am I? Am I love or hate? Do I bring peace or discord? Do I hold joy or trouble? Am I fearful and doubting? These are sometimes hard questions we have to ask ourselves. We don't always like to expose the darkness in us. We don't like shining that flashlight in us looking for bad frequency, bad energy, bad thoughts, bad ideas. But again, we're not trying to project an image. We're not trying to impress anyone. We're trying to heal. Heal ourselves, heal our minds, step into that better world. Do it for our family and our friends and the world. So we get honest. Do I bring peace or discord? When you come home, are your kids excited? Or do they go, oh crap, let's go hide in our room? Hello, Chihuahua. I'll be right back. I got to pick the dog up. They're happy now. I got both the dogs in my lap where they like to be. So we're talking about taking those hard looks at ourselves. Oh, yeah? Now the dogs are preaching. Am I love or hate? Am I good or bad? Am I trying to be good? Right? I think about what Lao Tzu says, that if you're trying to be good, you're not good yet. Or else you wouldn't be trying. You could just be good. If there's a decision to make and there's two options, it's not even a decision. You're just going to make the good option because you're a good person. You're good energy. It's not even a discussion. That's what we're getting to. Take an honest look inside. Is your energy good or evil? The energy of the seed. So here we're talking about seed, time, and harvest. The energetic seed you plant will have a harvest. Here's where I would have wrote it better, but people are fine with it, so we'll leave it. The energy of the seed of a tree will produce a tree. The energy of the seed of an animal will produce an animal. The energy of the seed of the good mind will produce good. The energy of the seed of evil energy will produce evil. So again, ask yourself, what energy am I really? What vibration, feeling, emotion do I hold? What do you feel inside? What are your emotions? If they're not good, if they're off, be brave enough to look at it. Why am I feeling this way? And then work on that. Hold the peace. Hold the love. Hold the forgiveness for yourself and others. Hold those high frequencies. And you'll see the low frequencies will flee. Hold that light. So again, ask yourself. See a theme in Asha 10. It's asking yourself, what energy am I really? What vibration, feeling, emotion do I hold? That's what will manifest in your world, right? There's Carl Jung right there. That's what the Buddha said right there. That's what all the masters teach right there. What do you hold? I think of Jesus. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he who holds my word has God life. What do you hold? What God, what spirit? That's what will manifest. Do you have one of those gods that love and hate, peace and war? Good or bad? They don't use those words, but you can see it in their actions and deeds, right and wrong. If you're holding that, it's what you're going to create. That's what will manifest. It says that's the consciousness you will take to the next world. So find God. Now, when we say God, we're talking the highest principle of good. Very important, because a lot of people, when they think of the name God, they think of the God they were given, a Jehovah, a Allah, a Shiva. We're talking a principle, the highest principle of good that you can dream of and then go higher. And it's pure, unmixed, undefiled, undiluted, not on a continuum with the evil spirit. Ooh. It says now, be, now, right now, in this time and space, be love. Why? Because when you're that highest frequency of pure love, Guess what can't live in you? Hate, fear, greed, jealousy, anger, right? Now be. Today is the day of salvation. Now, this is important. Envelop yourself in God's idea. I am love. I am life. I am peace. I am joy. I am one with God good, and evil cannot enter me. Can you see yourself as that light that darkness cannot enter? That love, can you see yourself where I am love? I am God good. I am that light. I come from the light. I'm made of the light. I am light. I come from good spirit. I'm made of good spirit. I am God stuff. Envision it. Something kind of funny. I wonder how many people have picked up on this. It says today is the day of salvation. It's supposed to say envelop yourself in God's idea. Look what I wrote. Envelope. Oh, and I just leave it because you guys love me anyway. And then it ends this statement and teaching with the creed of Zoroastrianism: live consciously. Good thoughts, good words, good deeds, right? Because here's all these different possibilities, right? The many worlds that you can step into, they tell you. But we do it consciously. We have that one mind. And so if we'll live consciously, holding the true thoughts, the real thoughts, we'll step into the true world, the real world. If we'll hold the true God good thoughts and energy and frequency, we'll step into the God world, the God life. All right, you guys doing okay? I can't stop there. Asha 10, what we've been talking about, goes perfectly into Asha 11. If you're still with me, go to the comments and say Asha is. Asha 11 says, I will release my own ideas to receive God's idea. So we're releasing our own ideas, our own stories. Maybe it's a God that's been given to you, a religion, a belief that's been given to you. Would you set that down to receive the highest principle of God goods, spirit, and energy, and story? And here we're talking about the multi-worlds, the possibilities. Listen to what Asha 11 says. It says, removing the corruption puts potentialities to their proper use. It opens up those possibilities, those other worlds. It makes it possible, makes those possibilities possible by removing the corruption. That's the Zoroaster, undefiled, undiluted. It's that pure light. You must burn out the impurities to find true essence. Purity is a must. Right? We're talking about this at the beginning. The lie, the biggest lie that is destroying people is that you need the darkness to appreciate the light, to see the light, to grow. My friends, the original religion, the foundation is good. This is where we're meant to live. If you'll hold it, if you'll be it, you will see it. If your vessel is mixed with poison, pour it out and fill it with pure substance, pure light. Zoroaster, Asha. It takes a long time to purify a vessel, one drop at a time. That, in my opinion, is too much trust in time. Trust God. Pour out your vessel and let God fill you with himself. Flip over to Asha 12. We're going to do Asha 12 and Asha 13 and we'll wrap up. But they go together perfectly. And the world needs this. There's nothing for me outside. I've spent too long looking for outside of myself. I've spent too long looking outside of myself in their churches, in their temples, in their synagogues, in their educational systems, in their stories and ideas. I spent too long just to find myself still searching, ever searching, looking for meaning, purpose, affirmation, approval, love, truth, happiness, and even God, just to find myself still searching. So I set down all the thoughts, ideas, stories, lies, and I go inside, and there I see the Savior I was looking for. I realize there's no separation from my good, my God. We are one. All the truth and happiness I was looking for, it's here right now. I am that, right? If you'll be it. Think of the stories I shared with you. They wanted to step into the better life, but to do that, they had to become it. So they're in resonance for it, and it rushed to them. It became them. They lived it. They stepped into that better life, that better world, with a better idea, a better story. Flip over to Asha 13. Here's a little quiz. Do you guys know Winston Head's favorite statement and teaching? Go to the comments if you do. Asha 13 says, good is good and bad is bad. The original word, the true word, the real word, the frequency, the energy, the mindset that created the world is that all good comes from the Creator and no evil comes from him. And from this original word, the spiritual world is made straight and the material world brought into order. Again, there's many possibilities, many worlds. And we step into it with our consciousness. Good thoughts, good words, good deeds, holding the frequency of it, holding the truth, being the real, being the love, being the peace. And then we step into that better world. From this original word, the spiritual world, our energy, is made straight. And the material world brought into order and harmony that we call Asha. The perfect Creator's perfect idea. And the original word of false religion is that evil comes from the Creator. And this false idea is all the evil that creatures suffer. Wow. No one else out there teaching this, guys. That's why you are so needed to hold the line. You know, in the comments the other day, you probably saw that a guy was comparing in his mind like the Magi to like a Jedi. He's saying not everyone can be a Magi, like not everyone could be a Jedi. I get you, brother. It takes a lot of strength to hold that line, to hold that light, when everyone else, it appears, has taken on that mixed energy, those mixed gods, and they're trying to make it holy. But my God, when you're calling darkness light, what hope is there? But Zarathustra's Gatha 5 says it perfectly. O false gods, beware. The Magi have returned, and we've brought this with us. Truth. And when the truth comes, the lie is exposed. So when it seems like such an impossible fight, it's about as simple as turning on a light. And the lie is exposed for what it is. Nothing in the darkness flees. And we step into that better world with our better thought. And all the Magi said, Asha is.